Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're peeling back the layers on something that looks simple on the surface, a request for travel advice, but it quickly reveals these fascinating and sometimes pretty fraught dynamics you find in online communities. Our source material today is a Reddit thread. It's from the Your Santa Barbara community. And it started with a user just asking for some suggestions for their honeymoon trip. Simple enough, right?
You'd think so. But our mission here is to go deeper than just travel tips. We really want to unpack the unwritten rules, the unspoken expectations, and also the surprising generosity, but also, the friction that happens when people try to share knowledge online. It's kind of a shortcut, really, to understanding how these digital conversations work when you're looking for that local wisdom.
Right, that authentic scoop.
Exactly. And what's interesting right off the bat is just how universal this kind of request is. I mean, we've all been there wanting genuine tips beyond the guidebooks. It's a basic human thing, trying to connect with local knowledge.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack the original post. It was pretty straightforward. Came from a user in Michigan. They were heading to Santa Barbara with their wife, first honeymoon, and the husband mentioned he'd actually lived there before, liked its quiet nature. Yeah. So they were looking for, a schedule, maybe some nice, cute restaurants or dates. Pretty standard honeymoon stuff.
Totally standard. On the surface, just a normal, polite request. And like I said, that's why it's so relatable. We all want that insider knowledge, those hidden gems you won't find just Googling. You turn to these communities hoping for, real insights from real people who know the place. It's about trust, authenticity.
And the first few responses were great. Exactly what you'd hope for. Real warmth. One of the first comments was just, "Congratulations on your marriage." Which, on Reddit, that kind of human touch is really nice. That's a good tone.
It really does. It shows the community's default can be helpfulness. And along with the congrats, you got the standard go-to advice. People pointed him to the subreddit's wiki, the compiled FAQs.
Right, the first stop.
Yeah. And then a specific spot, Cold Springs Tavern, up Highway 154. Classic recommendation. So baseline helpfulness was definitely there. The community has ways to share info.
But then, this is where it gets interesting. The tone, it shifted pretty quickly. Suddenly you start seeing comments pushing back, criticizing the guy for asking something that had, quote, already been asked hundreds of times.
Yeah, you could almost feel the collective sigh, couldn't you?
Totally.
And this is where you hit that classic online tension. You've got some members, maybe longtime members, expecting new people to, put an ounce of effort into not asking.
The search first rule.
Exactly. Why didn't you just search? Use Google, that kind of thing. It's this feeling that they're constantly answering the same basic questions. It feels like a drain.
And the original poster, he got a bit defensive. Understandably, maybe. He replied something like, "You could have skipped," instead of your negative comment. "Have a great day."
That classic online back and forth. Criticism met with defensiveness.
And then it escalated. Someone dropped this really cutting remark, something like, "Hope you don't fail the Bayar exam, buddy. Maybe your study skills are better than your research skills."
Ouch.
Yeah, coach is right. And that kind of personal jab, even if maybe intended as dark humor, shows how fast things can go south online. Text lacks tone, right? So things get misinterpreted, amplified.
For sure.
That quick escalation, it speaks to how fragile online politeness can be when norms about effort are perceived as being violated.
Yeah.
It's almost a protective, if aggressive, reaction.
So this brings up the whole generic request critique that started bubbling up.
Right. People started saying the post was too vague, it lacked specifics. They wanted to know things like dietary restrictions, cuisines you like, price range, hobbies, interests, vibe.
Yeah. Give us something to work with.
Exactly. Without that context, how can we give really good tailored advice? It's a fair point from the helper's side. You need more than just recommend a restaurant. And out of that frustration came the sarcasm. Some truly epic, sarcastic suggestions. My favorite had to be, eat at Little Caesars on Milpas, take in the sights and sounds of De La Guerra Plaza, and enjoy a tour of the Santa Barbara desalination plant.
Yeah, pretty pointed sarcasm there.
Though, to be fair, someone did reply they would totally tour the desal plant.
Which adds a nice layer. But seriously, that kind of sarcasm online, it's tricky. It can make a point, sure, express frustration, but without tone, it often just lands badly.
Yeah, it can escalate things instead of helping.
Definitely. It felt more like the community airing its own frustrations than actually, helping the original poster at that point.
Okay, so after all that, the gatekeeping, the sarcasm, did the honeymooners actually get any useful advice?
Yeah. This is where it turns around. Despite the friction, the good stuff did eventually surface. You really see the value of tapping into that local knowledge pool. Absolutely. This is crowdsourcing actually working, even with the bumps. People who genuinely wanted to help started cutting through that noise, and the suggestions got really specific, really detailed.
Like actual gems?
Exactly. Not just names, but why a place was good. Little details. So for restaurants, people threw out names like Liquida for Spanish tapas,
Good one.
the Lark for that California cuisine vibe, Flor de Maíz for Oaxacan, Zaytun, Middle Eastern in a garden setting,
Nice.
Gala for something more upscale. Oh, and San Isidro Ranch for the big splurge. You know, iconic, historic, super luxurious, real Santa Barbara experience.
Wow, okay, that's a solid list. What about things to do?
Loads of great ideas there too, really capturing the SB vibe.
Okay.
Things like having a picnic specifically at the Mission Rose Garden, like on the lawn there,
Oh, that sounds lovely.
riding the city e-bikes along the beach path, visiting Butterfly Beach, the Botanic Garden,
All right, the classics.
and definitely the courthouse for those amazing views from the tower. Can't beat that.
Yeah, gotta do the courthouse.
Yep.
Perfect honeymoon activities.
For sure. And people suggested getting out on the water too, like a sunset sail on the Double Dolphin.
Romantic.
Or even private charters if you want something more intimate. And for something kind of quirky, the Land Shark, that amphibious tour thing.
Oh yeah, the bus boat.
That's the one. Plus, you know, practical stuff like kayak and paddleboard rentals in the harbor. Lots of options.
Nice. Did they mention specific areas or day trips?
They did. The Funk Zone came up artsy, wine tasting, breweries, but with a warning, it could be pricier.
Good to know.
And for a day trip, heading up to the Los Olivos area, wine tasting, restaurants, about a 45-minute drive, really scenic.
See, these are the tips you want. The detailed, specific stuff you don't easily find just Googling. This is lived experience.
Exactly. But this whole exchange really throws that core conflict into sharp relief, doesn't it? That local versus outsider thing. You had comments basically saying, do your own research, tourists. We're not your assistants.
Yeah, that protective feeling over local knowledge, like it's being exploited.
Right. A sense of being overwhelmed, maybe taken for granted.
But then you have the other side, people defending the original poster. One user put it really well, saying he wasn't making anyone do research, he just asked for suggestions. Like, isn't that a chance to share what you already know and like?
Such a good point.
And that same user said they'd done hours of reading themselves, but still found new stuff on Reddit. They basically asked the gatekeepers, why are you even on Reddit if you hate crowdsourcing? Boom.
Right. It cuts to the heart of what these communities are for. They're built for sharing info, but that openness creates friction when regulars feel overloaded or taken advantage of.
It's a paradox.
It really is. If you can't ask questions or get shamed for asking, what's the point? And, you know, moderators play a role here too. We saw a comment actually got removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for violating the don't be a jerk rule. So even when it feels like chaos, there are underlying norms and mods trying to enforce them. It's a constant balancing act.
So quite a journey we took there. From a simple honeymoon question to this whole microcosm of online community life.
You see the generosity, but wow, you also see the friction.